What's with the finger? What's that? That's not gangster. That's not gangster.
Power, powder, respect. I want that money and power and powder. We back for the long awaited return of another episode of that good Power Book 4 for Season 3, Episode 1, entitled Do or Die. Do you wanna ride in the backseat of a caddy? Chop it up with do or die. Chop up that paper hoe, chop up that paper hoe. BIMPOOG. Welcome to Grown Movies and TV. I am your humble and most honorable host, Real. And this episode is brought to you by some good ass bourbon. That's how we do. Love Power Book 4 is glad it's back. Let's just get right down to brass tacks, shall we?
House music.
So we start off with Tommy, fuming over that call he took from Miguel last episode. Tommy got that call, saw that name on the phone. He like, okay, it's Lil Boo. Had his I'm about to talk to Lil Boo voice on, He like, yeah, babe, what's up? Where you been, boo? Tommy was trying to get his little smooth talk on, Motherfucking Miguel start talking back. Tommy whole world up. Miguel looking around like, big Barcelona cancel. He up in his torture spot, burning up both Tommy and Maria damn Barcelona tickets. Told Tommy he wasn't never gonna see Maria again, This mofo Miguel done adult napped Maria's ass, 'cause he was sent a pic of Maria and Tommy all booed up, courtesy of that two-headed snake crow slopper Shanti and burnt bagel ear Jannard ass, This mofo Tommy was looking forward to some goddamn Barcelona, wasn't he? Rushed his ass over to Miguel's spot with a hurriedness. Meanwhile, Miguel and Maria get that kidnap rap, She get to professing her love about Tommy, This chica went all out, She like, look, player, it's Tommy or bust, damn it. Like, this mofo is it for me. I done found the one. Got on that heavy D. She like, I want somebody to love me for me. She like, he the one. No way you gonna take him from me. Grabbed Miguel gun. Told him she was gonna put one in her own dome if she couldn't have Tommy, Then she thought about it. Reconsidered and was like, that. That ain't what I want for my damn self, I mean, Tommy the one, but damn, Got her senses back a little bit, Got to play in that trump card. Told him she was gonna tell Che that he the one killed Che's son so he could be leader of the damn insane princes, you know. Now, I ain't never seen that play be a winner in life or on film, you know, because that'll usually get you bodied quicker, but not tonight, you know, because Miguel was just concerned that she was being used by Tommy to get to him, you know. He knows she no game, and how much she really must love this cat to throw that card out there, you know. Shortly after their little chat, Tommy pull up to Miguel's spot, you know. Got to acting a goddamn fool, too. He outside Miguel's spot, gun out. He like, Miguel, come outside now. He like, I ain't going nowhere without Lil Boo. You better not have hurt Lil Boo. You know, where she at? Where she at, Miguel? Miguel see they both was acting a goddamn fool over each other, you know, separately. Sees maybe they really do have a little something, even though Tommy is the enemy. These two little players was looking so crazy in love and shit, you know, got them looking so crazy in love. Oh, nah. And he let Tommy live, you know, just to keep the peace with Che and his sister. These motherfuckers was on that endless love, you know, that blue lagoon. My love, there's only you in my life, the only thing that's right. And I want to share. Tells Tommy he let Maria up out of there, you know, same as he was about to do to him. Then he ran down the big bro speech, you know, that Terry Crews speech on Norbit. That big Jack Lattimore, you know, told Tommy if he hurt her in any way, he was coming at him with razor blades and lemon juice. Tommy pieced the hell up out of there, you know, at some point catches up with Maria, who makes him promise he wouldn't kill Miguel, you know. And begrudgingly, he makes that promise. Now, while all of that shit is happening, Diamond snatches up Vic, you know, on Tommy's order. And they get him up in the spot, you know, Timing. Shit, this motherfucker working. Diamond and Tommy start playing games with Vic ass, you know. They like, we almost got popped 'cause of a snitch. Vic like, who the snitch? Where he at? Let me at him. Goddamn Vic was about as nervous as a turkey with a tick on Thanksgiving, wasn't he? They gave him a nice rundown that it was Shanti and all of that, you know, made him feel like he wasn't a snitch. This mofo Vic all of a sudden found his ass delighted in shit, you know. Like these mofos gave him his cut for the week and all of that, put his ass to work. They like go collect from uptown, you know. Gave this motherfucker errands to run and all of that. This mofo get out the spot. His first visit is to Stacy Marks. Tell Stacy he in the clear, you know. He like, these mofos don't suspect nothing. He like, but can I get the out while I can still breathe? You know, get me the out now. You know, Vic won out the game. He like, I want to be the illest mofo in Nebraska. Get me out of here. But what do Stacy do? Tell him they need his ass to do more work. She like, don't with me, Vic. You don't want to with my gang. Y'all don't want to with us. CBI making them pesos. Y'all don't wanna with us. Vic, you better move when we say so. Told his ass she was the head negress in charge. You know, don't play with me. This mofo piece up out of there. But he knew his days was numbered. You know, like he might have felt the vibe Tommy and Diamond was giving off, you know. And now this mofo Stacy, after hearing him talk, told him she thought they was playing him. He go meet up with Paulie's widow, you know, hit her with that if anything happens to me speech. Gave her the mobster envelope, you know, a thick-ass one at that. This motherfucker handed her a manila envelope full of cash. Hit her with that manila envelope. All that said, though, goddamn Vic thought his game was motherfucking tizite, didn't he? Till they caught his ass in the goddamn parking garage lacking. This mofo looked like he was on his way to Witsec and shit, you know. Had the Witsec I'm incognito outfit on, didn't he? Had the motherfucking traveling cap, check. Backpack, check. Light jacket and tee, check. Double check. Looked like mofo had some tickets and or a map in his motherfucking hand too, didn't he? Goddamn Tommy and Diamond ran up on his ass, guns out. Looked like it was over for old Vic. They tell his ass they know he the snitch. Bitch. But they gonna use his ass as an inside man with the feds. Like, mofo, what? Don't you see this cat look like he about to be off the grid? Like this mofo looked like he was about to be traveling and shit. Like his ass needed to be popped right then and there. I don't know, what the do I know, you know. At any rate, speaking of Stacy Marks, well, she was still on Tommy's ass, you know, till she got that visit from a DNC rep, you know, the Democratic National Committee. And they told her ass the Democratic Party wanted to push her as a candidate for mayor, you know. Told her the cartel work she did recently was huge. They like, we need you to finish that shit off, though, you know, get that RICO case going. Now the focus is bigger than Tommy, you know. Her ambitions are bigger than Tommy. 1 minute, she was briefing her team like the #1 priority. You know the name, Tommy motherfucking Egan. Took that meeting with Donna Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Came back like, you know what? Y'all motherfuckers was right. What was I thinking? Tommy small fries. You know, we need to forget about Tommy. You know, like they forgot about Dre. We need convictions, y'all. Let's get that RICO going, you know. Switch that shit up on a whole team. Just then one of the agents get the word that out of the 3 players they had lined up to start that RICO, you know, Ortega, Claudia, and goddamn Merkovich. Well, Claudia just got shanked and shivved up in lockup. You know, they shanked and shivved her ass. And Merkovich got taken off the goddamn map. They laced his ass up smooth, didn't they? This mofo had the cartel lawyer talking to his ass, checking his loyalty. He like, yeah, tell Ortega I'm in his debt. Motherfucking lawyer like, we know. Slipped his ass a little note to be open later when in the privacy of his own cell. Merkovich opened that shit up later after a cat nap. Fell the hell out, didn't he? He stood up and fell the hell right down. Anthraxed his ass. So now the case looking a little shabby, you know, but there's still a case to be made. And they all see it, you know, they all see it. DeFranco see it, you know. Seen her ambitions as a goddamn rider, you know, tells her he put in paperwork to quit the task force, you know. Shit, all DeFranco want is a round-way girl, perm in her hair, or either a curly weave, You know the rest, with a new edition Bobby Brown button on the sleeve, that's all he want. Turned out Stacy a ride-or-die chick, I need a ride-or-die chick. I like to rock Prada suits and my ass is fat. I need a ride-or-die chick. He piece up out of there, don't want no more parts of what the Stacy doing. Let's get to talking about some goddamn snakes though, Speaking of a ride-or-die chick, Claudia lived through her shanking. She up in the infirmary, gets a visit from aforementioned Stacy Marks. Of course we know what Stacy want. Same deal as Claudia brother basically, Claudia like, I ain't my goddamn brother. The fuck up out of here. Then she gets a visit from the cartel lawyer, who she convinces that she good, Then she try to convince Lil Boo Elise that they good, but need her to get a kite to Ortega, let him know she on home team. Lil Boo Elise looked like she was about to crack from the pressure and shit, which really ain't been turned up yet, but this ain't her lane really, Goddamn Claudia trying to stay alive by any means necessary. Ain't trying to have the cartel take her ass out like they did Merkovich, No. How about that two-headed snake? Jannard and Shanti ass, up to they old shenanigans again. These mofos up in the gym giving new meaning to the term up against the ropes, They up in there screwing and plotting to screw over mofos, These mofos, they disconnect from each other, Jannard get to pulling himself out. No longer than 30 seconds and a damn sip of water after. These mofos get to talking about Tommy ass, Ain't let that love aftermath breathe or nothing, These two stinky little snakes. Jannard was up in that piece with the do-rag on. This mofo ain't got no goddamn hair. I do love a goddamn do-rag though, Take that joint off, waves be on pizzoint. I digress though. Anyway, they get a visit from Tommy, who tell them they going after Merkovich's customers, starting with the Albanians. They want to hit while the wound is still fresh and nobody ain't hit him up yet, Tells Jannard he want him to roll through with him tonight. He piece up out of there. They like, damn, this mofo Tommy won't die, will he? This motherfucking cat got 9 lives. Just then Jannard get a beat from King Kilo, Told Jannard to get his ass down to the jail ASAP. And he get down to the goddamn jail. King Kilo tell Jannard ass that D-Mac need to die today, Cause his little nephew in a box. And D-Mac down at Jack in the Box. Eating burgers and shit, This motherfucker D-Mac gots to die. With every word King Kilo spoke, this motherfucker was looking like he was a sentence away from choking the didn't he? This motherfucker looked like he might have had to shit or something. His motherfucking face was tight as hell. But this mofo had the loudest, soft-spoken threats ever. Jannard like, I got you. Kilo like, well, what the you still sitting here for? Get the moving. I want this motherfucker dead. Now, Jannard trying to be strategic, with the taking out of D-Mac, But King Kilo like, look, every day this mofo walking around, eating cheeseburgers and shit, sipping on shakes. I'm up in this jail looking weak. And I can't have that, player. I understand that. He tells him if CBI want him and his people in the commission, then he needs to put D-Mac on his back ASAP, gave Jannard ass a week. Jannard go back to Shanti. And she like, well shit, if he can wait a week, this motherfucker can wait 2 weeks. Hell, maybe 3, I don't know. She want to keep D-Mac alive till Kilo convinced Tommy and Diamond protecting him. And maybe he'll take out the 2 of them. Or at least Tommy. And at some point after Tommy and crew make that play for the Albanians and fail, will she get another visit from Tommy? And they get a visit from some cartel hitters, And they get to laying down the motherfucking hitters with no injury, get to popping off on them cats, And while all of that is happening, Jannard goes out and hollers at Diamond, tells him the situation with King Kilo. Diamond like, it, take care of the problem, which is D-Mac, Cause right now, D-Mac reckless. And Tommy been evasive, keeping shit from him, Diamond like, shit, if Tommy would have handled this, we wouldn't even be here right now. Jannard like, just to be clear, just to make sure we both talking the same shit. He like, I'ma kill that little mofo. Diamond like, well, make sure it don't get back to us, Then he tell Diamond, don't even feel bad about this, bro. I know Tommy your boy and all, but he don't be telling you everything, He like, did you know that Tommy was cracking Maria legs out of formation for some time now? He like, see, I bet you ain't know that. And I bet you didn't know that, Ebony Eyes. And on that, Jannard go out and scoops up D-Mac, who out in them streets hungry. This motherfucker was walking the street like a goddamn fiend or a stick-up kid, take your pick. Before Jannard ran into his ass, this cat had already approached Diamond, reckless as D-Mac is, soldier, but reckless, without discipline and good sense often. D-Mac was talking back to Diamond and shit, Diamond trying to run down what's what. This motherfucker D-Mac was talking back. He like, I don't know what the f you talking about. I don't need to listen to you. Diamond like, don't look like you can take orders, I'm telling you to lay low. And there you go telling me no again like Keith Sweat, sent D-Mac on his way. Said ain't no work for him today. D-Mac was pressing his ass too. This mofo D-Mac the type you don't even want to hold that thought. Let alone some work. Goddamn jitterbug and shit. So when Jannard pull up talking about get in, I got that work for you Diamond sent me. This motherfucker D-Mac was all in. He like, bout goddamn time, mofo. D-Mac is like the number one pawn type on the chessboard, And at the same time, after he get in, a heated Diamond go and visit Tommy. Tell him he know about Maria. Tell him his personal actions getting in the way of business. And all this new addition, ooh, my secret shit is not good for their partnership. And Tommy agrees, tells him no more secrets. Meanwhile, Diamond ass just put a hefty bid in on a new secret. With this Jannard popping D-Mac thing, Diamond just came to Tommy about secrets. Meanwhile, he got a secret popping off, We gonna see what the f*** happens.